Coming up on WFT's First at 5, the coldest air of the season so far is moving our way. We've got the latest forecast.
Plus, how a local school is working to improve and a vote that could affect its progress.
And police are looking for the driver in a fatal hit-and-run crash in Ocala. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Right now, temperatures are in the upper 70s, and it's been a beautiful fall day across north central Florida. But those warmer temps will quickly fade as we head into the evening hours. Here's what you will wake up to tomorrow morning. Temperatures in the 40s. That's a much more than a 30-degree drop from the day before. It's time to pull out the coats as the cooler air will settle in. This is WFT's First at 5. I'm Jamie Goldman.
And I'm Charlize Ramos. The UF weather team says the colder temperatures will be sticking around at least through the weekend. Let's get right over to Matthew Clark live in the weather studio, timing out when we will begin to start feeling the chill in the air.
Yeah, we're going to enjoy that cold weather for sure. It's starting to feel like fall, and the first gust of cold weather is going to become tomorrow morning, 48 degrees when you're waking up in Gainesville. Complete opposite this morning. It was humid. It was warm this morning. Tomorrow it's going to be dry. It's going to be cold. So coats ready. We haven't seen the cold temperatures quite yet because we've been getting winds from the south, but you can see those winds from the north starting to creep their way in. The front is like right here, right overhead right now. The squall line ahead of us was from all the rain from that front that we got yesterday. We've seen some high temperatures today, 81 degrees in Gainesville, 81 in High Springs, much drastically different highs tomorrow than we have today, like a complete flip of the switch. Campus Cam, beautiful day out there right now, crystal clear blue skies, temperatures in the upper 70s, winds are starting to shift from the north. We're going to get those cold temperatures soon.
Because temperatures are expected to drop below 45 degrees, the city of Gainesville is enacting its cold night shelter program for the city's most vulnerable neighbors. St. Francis House and Grace Marketplace will provide services overnight. St. Francis is providing temporary shelter for families, women, and children. And the Grace Marketplace, they primarily serve individual adults. The cold night shelter program runs until March 31st. Officials with Alachua County Emergency Management are warning neighbors to be careful when firing up their heaters tonight. They say this will likely be the first time you're turning on your heaters this season. And to make sure, you check your smoke alarms. If you have any type of gas, burning heater, or fireplace, make sure you have the proper CO detectors. And keep space heaters at a safe distance and don't run them while you're sleeping.
Right now, police in Ocala need your help tracking down a hit-and-run driver that killed a 28-year-old man. Police responded to a report of who have been hit around 7 this morning. When they arrived at the scene on State Road 200, they found a victim's body near a retention pond. Investigators suggest he was crossing the major highway on an e-bike when a vehicle driving west hit him. If you have any information about the crash, you're urged to call the Ocala Police Department.
The Putnam County Sheriff's Office believes there could be more victims after a former coach and teacher was arrested, accused of sending inappropriate texts to a student. Deputies received a tip about 54-year-old Robert Bush back in early October. He was working at QI Roberts Junior High School at the time. Detectives say some of the messages were sexual in nature and they seized his phone. Investigators say he left for North Carolina, and with the help of law enforcement there, he was arrested. Deputies are urging other potential victims to come forward. Bush was placed on administrative leave but resigned shortly after.
A grand jury has just handed down a first-degree murder indictment against a Gainesville teenager. We told you back in March about the shooting death of a 24-year-old Tyron Certain. Alachua County deputies quickly arrested 18-year-old Terrell Weeks for his death. He's been in the Alachua County Jail with no bond since his arrest. He will be back in the courtroom for a case management hearing on January 13th.
The city of Gainesville is sad to announce the passing of former District 1 City Commissioner Charles Gostin. Gostin was elected to the City Commission in 2015 and worked to improve the community. The city says he ended GRU Friday cutoffs, added restrooms to Smoky Bear Park, and upgraded bus stops through the district. He also played an instrumental role in securing a $200,000 grant to renovate the MLK Multi-Purpose Center to serve as an emergency center.
The Florida Department of Education met today in Orlando. On the agenda, voting on a turnaround plan for Gainesville's Rawlings Elementary School. WFT's Jada Ross is live at ACPS headquarters to tell us more about the outcome of the vote and next steps.
A discussion about Rawlings Elementary School's turnaround plan was on the state educators' agenda. However, the board spent most of their time talking about the Alachua County Public School District as a whole. The district was tasked with providing the state a plan to bring up the standards at the elementary school. Those plans include bringing district leaders to visit the school regularly, better supporting students with disabilities, providing students access to programs like the UF Literacy Institute as well as others, and putting teachers through leadership professional training. But the board discussed at length the impacts of charter schools and how the district can be better as a whole.
When we set that bar and we hold the teachers, the staff, and the students accountable to that bar, they'll rise up to meet that.
Niche, a school ratings and review site, said Alachua County was one of the top 25 school districts in the state. Their rankings are based on graduation rates, teacher quality, and academic performance. We are reaching out to ACPS to get their response on the state's comments and on if their plan was approved. Live from ACPS headquarters, Jada Ross, WUFT News.
A North Central Florida shelter is doing its part to find abandoned dogs a forever home. Recent setbacks are not putting a damper on this shelter's goal of making miracles happen. The Levy County Animal Shelter was deemed inhabitable for employees, who say their office has been condemned after mold and rat feces were found in the building. There are no new renovation plans in place for the office. Right now, employees are working to move their supplies into a rental trailer where they will work from.
Now we've got black mold coming through the walls of the office, and that is just unsafe for our employees to work in there.
While the employee office is closed, the animal shelter will remain open. 7 dogs are still awaiting adoptions. If you are interested in a new forever friend, contact the shelter at 352-486-5138.
With the holiday season underway, safe transportation is important to keep in mind. WFT's Nicole Borman tells us what you can do to stay safe on the roads.
That's right, guys. We're covering ground transportation for the upcoming holiday season. So here's how you can upkeep your car to ensure that you can stay safe.
Tommy's Auto Works has been in business since 1977. Natalie Miller owns the Gainesville staple. She understands the importance of preparing your car prior to road trips.
The last thing you will want during your holiday travel is to break down away from home. That is very scary to me.
According to the Journal of Consumer Researchers' analysis of data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, fatal motor vehicle crashes by holiday and geographic regions show that across every major holiday between 2017 and 2021, the U.S. southern region, which includes Florida, makes up the most fatal holiday crashes. Automotive technician David Rodriguez prioritizes brakes, fluids, and lights for the travel season. He has a few tips in case you have to check your vehicle without an expert's help.
An easy thing would be your tires. You can also look through your wheel well. You could see your brake pads, see the wear there, simply without any cost to the owner.
To help ensure your holiday travel runs smoothly.
According to Statista, Thanksgiving falls behind Independence Day for the most dangerous holiday for drivers. Live outside Tommy's Auto Works, Nicole Borman, WUFT News.
Thanksgiving weekend marks one of the busiest times of the year on the road, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. They're sharing tips on how to get around safely this holiday season. The NHTSA reminds all drivers and passengers to wear their seatbelts. The organization shared that in 2022, there were 326,000 people killed in traffic crashes over Thanksgiving weekend, and 43% were unbuckled. They're also reminding drivers that you should never get behind the wheel with drugs or alcohol in your system. To get home safely, make a plan, catch a ride with a sober friend, use public transportation, and don't let others drive drunk. If you're hosting, please be responsible and make sure guests get home safely.
Thanksgiving is a time for family reunions, good food, and fires. That's why Gainesville Fire Rescue is urging you to know how to safely fry a turkey. The 15-pound birds aren't safe to fry if they're frozen, or you might have oil explode out of the pot. Once you've thawed your turkey, it's important to perform a water displacement test. This will help you make sure you don't use dangerous amounts of oil. GFR's fire and life safety educator Aubrey Backlund says Thanksgiving sees a high number of house fires. She encourages you to make sure your Thanksgiving is a success by being as safe as possible.
as long as you take all the necessary steps, that you can fry a turkey pretty successfully. So we just want to make sure that people are prioritizing safety and, putting themselves in a situation where they won't get hurt.
GFR plans to release a video giving tips on how to safely fry a turkey by this weekend. Until then, be sure to research the necessary steps online.
With just 2 months until Inauguration Day, President-elect Donald Trump has begun building his administration, tapping people for key roles.
When First at 5 returns, we'll share more on the former president's transition back into the White House and who he's bringing with him.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Earlier this month, President-elect Donald Trump nominated U.S. Representative Matt Gaetz to the U.S. Attorney General position, an appointment that has received backlash amidst allegations against the former congressman. The House Ethics Committee met today to decide whether to release a report investigating Gaetz' alleged misconduct. The committee explored allegations that Gaetz had sex with an underage girl and used illicit drugs. House Speaker Mike Johnson has publicly argued the report about a now private citizen should stay private. Earlier today, the committee's Republican chair saying the report has not gone through the review process, but the committee's top Democrat is pushing back.
I have some reservations about releasing any unfinished work.
I have previously stated I think the report should be released. That's my entire comment.
Gaetz has denied all allegations.
President-elect Donald Trump has announced a new member of his team following a recent string of appointments for key roles in his administration. The Commander-in-Chief has tapped Dr. Mehmet Oz to run the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. In a statement, President Trump said Oz has been at the forefront of healthy living for decades, adding that Oz will work with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who was nominated to the head of the Department of Health and Human Services. Both Oz and Kennedy have attracted criticism over the years for sharing misleading and false claims about health and science. The position requires Senate confirmation.
Florida's Chief Financial Officer Jimmy Petronas may be on the ballot in Florida in a special election to replace Representative Matt Gaetz. Petronas, who is also Florida's top fire official, said he strongly considered running for the state's first congressional district. According to a Florida law, a special election will be held to fill the congressional seat. Gaetz vacated his position after President-elect Trump nominated him for U.S. Attorney General.
The Children's Trust of Alachua County is starting the giving season early, investing a large sum of money in several youth programs. Over the next 3 years, the Trust plans to give $1 million to 16 organizations, including Gator Junior Golf, Santa Fe's College Knowledge Program, and the Florida Museum of Natural History. The organizations offer programs focused on life skills, leadership, physical and mental health, and more. According to a press release issued by the Trust, they hope this money will fund experiences children don't usually have access to.
With the cold front just draped over us now, we're going to start to feel those cold temperatures tonight and into tomorrow and into this weekend. It's going to be beautiful. I'll have that and more after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
We have vastly different skies out there tonight versus last night. Last night it was a sea of gray out there, and right now it looks like a sea of orange and blue out there. It's a beautiful night on our campus cam, and I want you to pay attention to those winds. Starting to see a W, that stands for west. That's where our cold air is going to be coming from, is from the west. So we're getting a change in temperatures as we're going to head into tonight. Change in winds is going to start to bring in that cold air, and as we head into tonight, those temperatures are going to drop into the 50s by midnight. So right now, temperature is around 79. It's going to drop from the upper 70s to the lower 50s in just a few hours. So it's going to get pretty chilly tonight. And when we're waking up tomorrow morning, it's going to be even more chilly. Right now, again, temperatures 79 degrees, 79 in Ocala, and 80 in Stark. But tomorrow it's going to be much different. Those temperatures are going to be a lot colder when we're waking up. Look at that, 48 in Gainesville. That is sweater weather if I've ever seen it. 50 in Ocala, and the further north you go, 46 in Lake City, and that's not even the coldest temperatures we're going to get, as this cold front is pretty strong, which brought us a lot of rain. Most of that rain is down south near the Caribbean right now, but that cold front is basically right overhead. It's going to start to move its way into the Atlantic, bringing in a lot of winds from the north. So last night we had some rain from this cold front and a lot of cloud coverage. Now that cloud coverage is going to pretty much get its way out of our area, and we head into the overnight. It's going to be clear. It's going to be beautiful out, and when we're waking up tomorrow, it's going to be crystal clear blue skies, complete opposite of today when we were waking up and we were seeing some cloud coverage. And as we head into tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be a beautiful crystal clear blue skies. It's going to be a beautiful Florida fall Thursday. And then the 3-day outlook, the highs are ridiculously low. Look at that. We don't get above 65. Tomorrow the high is 64, 63 on Friday, and then 63 on Saturday with some morning frost possible on Saturday, with lows going to be in the 30s in some spots in Florida. So Saturday, we do have a game in the Swamp. It's going to be even colder than it was last Saturday for a noon game too. So look at that. When we're tailgating out there, 47 degrees. That's very chilly for our standards. And then when we get to noon, sun's going to be out, but it's still going to be 58 degrees. So it's going to feel beautiful out there if you're going to the game. And then after the game, it's going to be in the low 60s. Beautiful. Those temperatures are going to start to rise as we head into Sunday though, but still not even breaking 70 on our Sunday. It's just going to be a beautiful weekend to get outside and enjoy some fall weather. And this is also another roller coaster here. Dew point, it's been pretty muggy today if you've been outside, but look at that. It drops down into the 30s. It's going to be pleasant. It's going to be refreshing. It's going to be a beautiful day. And then we're going to start to warm up as we head into Sunday and Monday of next week, but we're going to enjoy that. Look at that. A low 37 on Saturday before we start to heat up into next week.
Coming up in sports, a former Gator could join 2 other Gators in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Also, Florida men's basketball team remains undefeated this season. That and more coming up.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Anna Tsemba. Starting off with one of Florida's greats, former running back Fred Taylor has been announced as a semifinalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Freddie T has been nominated for the 6th consecutive year. He was 9th overall draft pick in 1998, being selected by the Jacksonville Jaguars. During his 10 years with the Jags, the organization's leading rusher ran for 11,271 yards and had 62 touchdowns. He looks to join the only 2 former Gators who have had this honor, running back Emmett Smith and defensive end Jack Youngblood. Now with Florida sports, on the court, the AP polls 20th ranked Florida Gators volleyball team is on the road tonight taking on Auburn. Earlier this month, Florida swept the Tigers at the O'Connell Center, led by an impressive performance by Kennedy Martin with 20 kills. Headed into the matchup, the Gators have momentum with an 8-game win streak and a 19-5 overall record. Also, Florida is 10-3 in conference play and look to strengthen their position in the SEC as the season is winding down to an end. The War Eagles will aim to use their home court advantage to challenge Florida's dominance, but first serve is at 8. Staying on the court, the Gators men's basketball team stays undefeated after their 84-60 win last night against the Florida A&M Rattlers. Despite some early struggles in shooting, the Orange and Blue found their rhythm to secure the win at home. Florida was paced by Will Richard with 20 points and Alex Condon's stand-in performance with 17 points and 9 rebounds. Due to illness, Denzel Aberdeen and Sam Alexis were out for the game, which gave freshman guard Isaiah Brown more time on the court. He was able to put up 9 points in 8 minutes with back-to-back threes, showing his potential, adding to the team's dynamics. Here's what Florida's head coach Todd Golden had to say about his future with the Gators.
You know, Zay Brown's a guy that we believe will be a great player here at Florida, and obviously has some really good ones in front of him right now. But as early as next year, we think he can be an impact player, in a big way.
The Gators hope to continue their win streak and stay undefeated with their next game this Friday against Southern Illinois here at the O-Dome. Now moving to high school sports, several local teams amidst football playoffs, including Newberry. Here's what Newberry's head coach Edward Johnson has to say about their playoff run so far.
Our kids have been really, really locked in the last 2 weeks. They know us at state. They know the goals we have. And, like you say, you're in the playoffs, so everybody isn't afforded this opportunity. We're blessed to be here, and we got to take advantage of it.
The Newberry Panthers are headed to face the Bradford Tornadoes on Friday with a kickoff time at 7:30. Some of the other Friday night games include Buchholz facing Pace at 7 and the Vanguard Knights taking on the Lake Whale Highlanders at 7:30. While high school playoffs are in full swing, college football playoffs are just around the corner with 2 weeks left in regular season. Last night, the College Football Playoffs Committee unveiled its 3rd set of rankings. The SEC's newest member, the Texas Longhorns, claimed the number 3 spot. With the expansion of 12-team playoff format, several SEC teams were ranked in the top 12, Alabama at number 7, Ole Miss at 9, Georgia at 10, and Tennessee at 11. While the Florida Gators are out for the playoffs, they have a chance to spoil the Rebels' playoff hopes in their head-to-head matchup this Saturday in the Swamp. And to wrap things up, the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Pittsburgh Pirates in overtime last night.
Yeah, I was glad to watch my boys go up to Pittsburgh and beat them because that was a much-needed win for them.
Yeah, and hopefully the Gators can get it done this Saturday in the Swamp.
I know we all have our orange and blue on, rooting them on this Saturday. Speaking of this Saturday, I heard the weather's going to be really nice.
Yeah, it's going to be even nicer than last weekend unless you were looking forward to warm temperatures, because that's not what it's going to be. I mean, look at that, low 37. So the earlier you wake up to tailgate, the earlier and the colder it's going to be. If you're waking up around 6:30, 37 degrees in the morning, that's very cold with highs around 65. Then we're going to slowly start to heat up as we head into Sunday and Monday. Temperature is going to be in the upper 70s.
Yeah, I, for one, am looking forward to those colder temperatures. Thank you, Matthew, and thank you for all of us for joining us at home. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WFT.org and all of our social media platforms. Have a good night and go Gators!